Right, so we'll be starting pretty shortly. All right. Anyone here use Python before? No?
Just do print after something like that.
Print, okay. Natalia said, oh my God, I love Python. I do too. Thank you for joining the stream. Let's give like 3 more minutes. Start at 4:05. Uncle Kenroy said, finally the best programming language. Of course, of course. If you're watching a live stream, let me know if you can hear me, please. Cool. Just out of curiosity, like, what's making you guys want to learn Python? Just to get like a new language under your belt, or no other reason?
I heard it was like
Leak code problems? Yeah, a lot of people use Python for interviews.
Is the whole stream going on YouTube instead of Zoom now?
Yeah, it's gonna be live stream straight to YouTube.
Zoom or?
No, yeah, YouTube, yeah.
You should probably on the GDSC. It still has a Zoom link.
Do you want to join the Zoom link as well?
Yeah.
To do both?
I don't know, going over to the YouTube.
So they're all going to YouTube, or do you want to do both?
I'll go to YouTube, just hear them streaming it.
YouTube, okay.
I'll just join in, let them know we're switching over to YouTube.
Okay, okay. Yeah, we can hear you. All right, thanks, guys. Any of you guys planning on using Python for shell hacks? Maybe?
That's a secret.
That's a secret? Okay. All right, cool. Don't tell me. It's fine.
Depends on what I learned in this one.
True. Hopefully I do a good enough job. All right. Thank you, Natalia. What's up, man? Okay. You're good with starting? Okay, I'll give it like a couple more minutes. Just let me know. Hello, welcome. Hello, you're here to learn Python?
Yeah, I'm here to learn Python.
You don't know Python? Don't worry, we got you with this workshop. Front row seat? You're that eager? An outlet? This one here.
This one's right here.
Oh yeah, right there.
You can just click that, take that share and just put it, it's right there.
Oh, sure.
You got one right behind you too.
Where are
said there was one here?
No, but I'm actually using it because it's
Oh,
too.
you're using
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, I'm using one, but the other one is being covered.
Bro, see, this is why Mac.
Careful with the camera.
This is why Mac is trash. Because the charger.
Says the guy who wants to buy a Mac.
No, I don't want to buy a Mac. When did I say that?
I don't know.
I never.
I thought you did.
No, I never. No, Ricky wants to buy it. Not me. I would never say that.
It is, yeah. Welcome to the stream, guys. Okay. Hello, thank you for coming. Okay, I guess we can start now. Hello guys, my name is Lazaro. I'm a tech lead here at GDSC. Talk a little bit more about it in the next slide, but thank you for coming. This is Python 101 workshop, so you guys can hopefully master this language or just be motivated to learn a bit more about it and add it to your tool belt. Very powerful language used for research and fast development. And a lot of people use it for interviewing, like a participant said. It's just easy. There's like a whole bunch of hacks for it. So when you're doing an interview, it's much faster and better. But it is a slow language. Also, this is a collaboration with the AEMB club. If you want to stand up and say something. Yeah, if you wanna. Here you go. You wanna talk right now?
Just be into this mic.
Yeah.
There's me.
Yeah.
Awesome. So hey guys, my name is Alex with AEMB. We're a biomedical engineering club here at FIU, and I was able to meet Clement, Bo, and now Laz. So this will be a great opportunity for the both of us. I'm really looking forward to learning more Python myself and be able to apply it to shell hacks hopefully. So I'll pass it on to Laz. He can take it away.
Thank you. Okay, cool. So, next slide. It's another little small one. That's my name. That's my graduation year, I think. I thought I put a question mark because I'm not totally sure when I graduate, but I think it's that year. I'm the competitive programming tech lead. I'm a junior studying computer science, and I mainly do back-end stuff, so I'm a back-end developer. So here's today's agenda, all the things we'll be going over. We have the overview, which will be the next slide. We'll be talking about output, variables, functions, conditions, loops, and data structures. This should be enough for you guys to get like a solid grasp of the language and try to do whatever you want to do. There's also some resources at the end, just in case you want to discover or new things. You know what to search up and you know what sites to use. This is a 2-hour-long workshop. This material should last me about an hour or an hour and a half. For the rest of that, I plan on going to the terminal and just playing around with Python to show you guys what it can really do and just how useful it is. So let's get right into the overview. So what is Python? Just by a show of hands, how many people have heard of Python? Okay, everyone except one person, right? You raise your hand? You raise your hand? Okay, everyone except one person. And that's from a audience of 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12 including me. So it's pretty popular. It's actually extremely popular. It's actually pretty slow. It's a high-level programming language to be designed to be easy to read and simple to implement. It's one of the reasons why they use it so much in the field, because it's really quick to development. You can create whatever idea you want extremely quickly, and then you can determine whether it's worth it to continue with it, and then switch it over to a faster language like C++ or Java. It also supports a bunch of modules and packages, which encourages program modularity and code reuse. They have a huge library, which is a great benefit for many people. As you see right there, it can also be used to create a wide range of applications. AI, of course, video games, backend servers, web scraping, and data science. The AI and data science, it's mainly used for that. A lot of researchers use Python for those things, as opposed to other languages like what we learn here in school, like Java. If you want to download it, or if you don't currently have it in your computer, highly recommend you try to get it now by going to that website. Shouldn't take that long. So now let's get into output. For printing things out, it's extremely simple. There's no system.out. whatever. It's just straight up print, and then you output the data to the screen, as you can see right here. The print function takes any type of object and then converts it to a string, and then outputs that data to the screen. For example, here we have a couple of data types. We have a string in the first one, then we have an integer, then we have a float, and then we have an array. As you can see, the print function can perfectly handle any one of those. It also accepts a couple of other arguments, which you might not know this if you just use Python normally, but if you do look at their documentation, you can see the nitty-gritty of all these functions and what exactly, what arguments they have. For example, they have a separator, which is the one I chose to change here. The sep variable, standing for separator, is by default a space value. And changing this to underscore will result in our data being separated by underscores. So as you can see in that slide, normally if you had just print hello, comma, world, it would have done hello, space, world. But since we changed the separator argument from space to underscore, it now prints hello, underscore, world. So that's pretty simple and straightforward. And that's pretty much it for output. It's that simple. It's seriously just print. You can do some fancy stuff with it, but as you can see, you can look at the arguments or try whatever you want. So now let's get into variables. It's kind of one of the base things. Strings in Python can be declared with double quotes or use a single quote. There's really no difference. Single quote does not mean a character. They still mean a string. This is something that might sound strange if you only use Java, for example, but Python is able to handle it. As you can see right here, for S, I initially declared it using 2 quotes, and then in the second one, I only used 1 quote. And it did not give me any error at all. It ran perfectly without any issues. Pretty useful. Strings can also be concatenated by adding 2 strings together. It's as simple as using the plus operator or plus sign, and we'll combine it. And my first string was just hello and then space, and then my second string is world. And if I just do S1 plus S2, it will give me the combination of that, which will be hello world. Python also includes string formatting by using by calling the format on a string variable. For example, let's look at the first line here. A is equal to hello curly brackets, which is important, 0, comma, today is another set of curly brackets, 1. Now, here when we call format, it's going to take Lazaro and put it in 0, and then it's going to take Sunny and put it in 1. That's why when you print it, we get hello Lazaro, today is sunny. Basically replaces the curly brackets with 0 with the first argument inside the format method. You can also do it pretty much in line, as you can see in the second line. Hello there, name, you are verb. Only difference is that now we're setting name equal to Lazaro, so it knows to replace name inside the curly brackets with that Lazaro string. And then this could be the same thing for verb. Now, from Python 3.6 and above, formatting could also be done using f strings, which is much faster and much easier. Is what people normally use, and it's what I use the most. So instead of having to call like dot format and then putting that inside of the parentheses, you can just do f, and then just string, and inside of the curly braces, you actually call the variable you declared. So here, as you can tell, I declare a variable called name, and I set it equal to Lazaro, and then verb, set that equal to tall. Then when I was printing, I didn't have to do dot format. I started to put the variable I want to use inside the curly braces for both of them, and was able to format it exactly how I wanted it. This one's the best. If you can use this one, I recommend you do. Now, other data types can also be converted to a string type using str. So this is just some conversion right here. Let's say we have a variable that holds a number. So here, variable named num is set equal to 7. And then we can convert that to a string by using str and then passing the variable. And then here I'm just printing out the type, which is used to do by type and then parentheses. Use that function. And it will give us exactly what we want. Here, num, the type is int, and has a value of 7. That's accurate. And then str underscore num has a type of string, which makes sense because we converted it from a number to a string. So now let's talk about integers and floats. An integer in Python is a whole number. So here, num is equal to 7, print 7. It's pretty much that easy. Let me change one thing. Make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Hopefully that works and I can see everything. Now, integers can be added together. This is some really basic stuff, but just to show you guys, there's no funny business here. This pretty much follows convention like any other language. Add them together with the plus sign, or I think this one's pretty unique to Python. You can do plus equal. Can you guys do that in Java? Quick question. You could? Oh, damn. Sucks. All right, I thought that was our selling point. Okay, well, this next slide is going to hurt a little bit. But, oh, nice, it doesn't have it. Okay, but what I wanted to say is you can't do plus plus. Plus plus doesn't work in Python. It's kind of a heartbreak, but whatever.
So you would have to do plus equals 1?
Exactly, you have to do plus equal 1. You cannot do plus plus. Yeah. Hey, but we don't have semicolons. All right, and then a float in Python is a decimal number and supports the same math operations as an integer. So plus, times, divided, everything like that. You can declare it just like that, 7.4, and there you go, you have a float. Other operations like multiplication and division is also supported. Of course, pretty simple stuff. And then floor division is also supported in Python. Floor division floors any float and converts it to an integer. So let's say here we have two numbers, 16 and 5. 16 divided by 5 will give us 3.2. But we can floor it by using 2 forward slashes. So that's a quick way of using floor. Instead of just 1 slash, you do 2 slash, floors it from 3.2 to 3. I also believe there's a built-in function called floor and seal, S-E-I-L, for calling flooring, and then for the ceiling, which is the opposite of floor. If we called seal on 3.2, it would have given us 4. Modulo operator is also supported in Python. The modulo operator returns the remainder in division. So 5 modulo 4 would give us 3. Because 4 times 3, 12, and then remaining 3. Oh yeah, Python has a built-in operator for calculating powers. Java definitely doesn't have this, right? No, I don't think so. Python, you can just do times time, and that's basically raising it to the power. I think in Java you have to do like math.pow or something like that. Yeah? All right, cool. But yeah, here you can just do, let's say num is equal to 5, and then power is equal to 3. So 5 times 3 will give us 5 to the power of 3, which is 125. Pretty cool. When possible, int conversion could be used on floats and strings. So let's say here in the beginning, in that top cell, we have num float is equal to 19.5. Then num is equal to int of num float. It will basically floor it to 19. This is pretty similar to the string function, but this is just for ints. Now it also works with strings, as you can see right there. We have a string that is a number. We call int on that number string, converts it from a string to an int. And I'm just proving it by printing out the type. We also have booleans. One difference, the T and F have to be capitalized. Everything else is pretty much the same. It's just true and false. Setting in boolean, yeah. Without the capital T or F, it will throw an error. So that's something you have to watch out for. Just how Python works. It needs to have the capital T or the capital F. Variables can be given a Boolean value by comparing two values. As you can see right here, 5 is greater than 10. What do you guys think? Is 5 greater than 10? No? All right, yeah. That's why it will return false. It would set the compare variable name equal to false. And then here in the second cell, we can check if hey is equal to an empty string. Obviously, it's not. Those are two completely different strings. We can just check that they're equal to each other by doing equals equal. And it will set that also equal to false. Using not before a false Boolean value will result in true, which is equivalent to using exclamation point false in other programming languages. So here we don't have the exclamation point. So yes, not something we have. Instead, what we have to use is not. So that would take the complete opposite of whatever variable value comes after it. So here, hungry is equal to false. And if I call not hungry, it will result in true. All right, so that was variables. That one took a little bit longer. You guys have any questions so far? All right, good, cool. So now we can get into functions. A little bit harder stuff, I guess. A function in Python is declared using the def keyword and called using the function name and a pair of parentheses. So here, to declare a function, I first use the keyword def. I gave the function a name, and then parentheses, and colon. Not open parentheses and close parentheses, just colon, and then tabbed with proper spacing. This function is going to just return welcome everyone. I also, as you guys can tell, I did not declare what this function is going to return because I don't have to. Python doesn't require that. So I call greet, I call my function, set that the value of greet equal to result, and then when I print result, I get welcome everyone, which is exactly what we expect it to give us. By the way, welcome everyone. Variables supposed to be passed to functions. Of course, if you didn't have this language would not be as popular as it is. Here, I now have a function that takes in a parameter called num1, or an argument called num1. Another thing I want to call out is that I did not declare what data type that argument has to be, because once again, it's now required by Python. So here, when I pass 3 as in num, it will return num1 times num1. At this point, that's why the function's got squared. Should have named it squared, actually, not square. But when I call it with 3 and we print out that result, it will give us 9. So functions could also have default variables. I think this is also unique. If no specific variable is passed to that argument, then it uses the default value. So let's say here in add, in this function add, I have two arguments. I have num1 and then I have num2. Num2 is going to default to 3 if it does not get passed in. So what does that mean? Well, let's call add with 12. When we call add with 12, num1 is equal to 12, but num2, since it was never specified when we called the function, is going to default to 3. That's why, as you can see here, with what we're printing, first number is 12, second number is 3. We can overwrite that default by actually passing in another argument or another variable for that argument. There we go. So when we call add again and we pass in 6, but then we also pass in 8, it will print out first number is 6, second number is 8. This is also pretty useful. Yeah?
So there's no like main method in
Yeah.
Python?
Yeah, no. Let's say you're creating a Python file, you can just start writing Python code. You don't need like any setup or anything. The scope of variables declared inside a function is local and accessible only to that function. You guys probably expected this. This is some pretty basic stuff. In here, inside of the greet function, I have a variable called last name. And then when I call the by function, I'm trying to access that variable, but I can't. Because by last name is only accessible inside the greet function. So by will throw an error. Okay, so classes in Python are declared using the class keyword. Functions inside a Python class are called methods. You can use them interchangeably, but if you want to be technical or exact, you got function this, and then method if it's inside the class. And all methods required the self argument. Here, pretty small example. I'm creating a class called triangle. Now this is also convention. The first character in your class name needs to be capitalized. That's not the case for functions or methods, but in classes, that is a convention. And in the industry, you guys will see that. And if you try to commit some code with a lowercase t as your class name, they will probably call you out. So here my class is called triangle, and I have the first method I have is called underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Does anyone want to guess what this is? Who hasn't touched Python? Like, what is the equivalent of this in? Huh? Wait, no, sorry. Yeah, not the area, but underscore underscore init.
Isn't that just replacing space?
No.
I mean, I know the answer, but
Constructor.
Okay. Yeah. That's the constructor. How do you do this in Java? Do you have to name it the same thing as the class?
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, as you can tell, I know a lot about Java. So here the constructor is just called init. So as soon as you call triangle, as you can see, we're passing in two arguments, 3 and 4. The reason we're doing that is because those values will be passed to the constructor underscore underscore init underscore underscore. We're saving those values by doing self.base equal to base, in this case it's 3. Then self.height equal to height, in this case it's 4. The reason we're doing self.dot, I believe that's the equivalent of doing this dot, is so the class itself has memory of what this, what base holds and what height holds. So if you want to call a method inside of this class, you can first initialize the class by doing triangle, and then straight up call the method you want inside the class. So you can do dot area, and as you can see, the area method has self in the argument because that's required. And then area is getting self.base and self.height. which are variables inside of that class. And then, of course, the answer is 6. Is there any questions about this, or was there something confusing? Anyone in the chat, feel free to put a question there too.
Can you expand on the self again a little bit more?
Yeah. So self is basically having access to to itself, to the class itself. And it's doing self.base, so you can add an argument to that class. Okay. No more questions. So, and I don't think there's anyone in the chat asking a question, so we can carry on. Oh, look, I talked about this already. So yeah, most Python classes include init, because that is a constructor. And as soon as you call that class, that's the first method that will run, if you have it. If you don't have it, then it won't be run. In the constructor, the pass variables are added to the instance of the class using self, and self could be used to access variables or methods. Which I believe my next couple of slides will go over that. But just how we're doing self.base, we could do self.area. Let's say we had another method inside this class called hello. Inside that hello method, we can call area by doing self.area. So it remembers the variables and the methods. A method inside a class will be called by calling the method on the class or class variable. So this is that triangle area. This is how we can call that method, because we instantiated the triangle class initially, and then we just called triangle.area. Classes can also be extended by referencing the parent class when declaring a new class. So here we have two classes. We have square and cube. Okay, square is pretty similar to triangle, so I don't think I need to cover anything there. But cube is different. Cube extends square, and its constructor we'll call super.init. That super will go to the super class, which in this case, does anyone want to guess what it is? What is the super class of cube? Yeah. Yeah, square. It's square. When you call super, it's going to call square. And since you're calling the constructor, it's going to pass width and height to square. And then it's going to save self.depth and set that equal to depth. So when we call cube, as we're doing right there in the bottom, we pass it the arguments 3, 3, and 3. 3 for width, 3 for height, and then 3 for depth. It's going to hit the constructor, and it's going to call the square class and pass it the width and height. Because remember, the square class, cube is extending the square class. Now when we're calling stats, the stats method in the cube class, it gets the square stats by calling super.stats. So it's going to return this. And then it's going to add to it the depth, which is why it returns width 3, height 3. So this first two are coming from square, and then the last one is actually coming from cube. Does this make sense to you guys, or do you have any questions about any of this? Good? Okay, good. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, methods in the parent class can then be called using the super function. And that's it. That's functions for you guys. Now we can go into conditions. I feel like conditions should have been before functions. It's fine. All right, so we have if, elif, and else. A if statement in Python is written using the if keyword. If the if condition returns true, then the if block gets triggered. Pretty simple programming 1 stuff. Keep in mind, no curly braces and no need of parentheses. You could add the parentheses if you want, but it's not required. So here, num is equal to 10, and then we're doing if num is greater than 5. Do you guys think 10 is greater than 5? Okay, I heard 1, yeah. Okay, there's 2. Okay, 3. All right, cool. Let's just call that consensus. Therefore, that's why we print number is greater than 5. That could be taken as 5 factorial, which in this case, that would not be the case, but it's just 5. Python also has an else statement that is written using the else keyword. If the if condition does not return true, then that else block will get triggered. So 10 is not greater than 20. Therefore, we hit the else block, and that's why we print number is less than 20. Yeah. Yeah, sad face. Yeah. Another statement is the elif keyword, where you need to check several conditions. You can place an elif between the if and else block. I think it's else, like actual else if in Java, right? Yeah, cool. In this case, we have multiple conditions that we want to check here. The first one, if num is greater than or equal to 3, it is not. Then we want another one. But this time, instead of using else, we use elif. Because we only want to run this check if this one fails. But we don't want to result to the else. We instead want to do a couple more checks, which is why we use the elif. So now let's talk a little bit about truthy and falsy values. Variables like a 0, an empty array, or empty strings have a falsy value. So you can see right here, num is equal to 0, and if num, so if 0. 0 returns false, because it takes it as a falsy value. Therefore, the else block gets ran instead of the if block.
So if it was 1, it would be true then. I mean, it would be a number.
Yeah, if any other number other than 0, even negative numbers, it will return true. And then here's the same thing for strings. We have an empty string, and we do if string. That empty string will be taken as false, as falsy, which is why the else block runs. Other variables, like a non-empty string or non-zero int, return a truthy value. So right there we have the one like you mentioned. If num is not 0, so it will return truthy. And as we hit, it's going to run the if block. And then for a string that is not empty, if string, the string is not empty, so that's return truthy, and we hit the if block. And that's it for conditions.
Is there also like a switch statement in Python? Or?
In Python 3.9, I believe there is. It's called match. Yeah, we have time. So this is new though. Let's just, some extra info doesn't hurt. I think it's called match. This is totally new though. Yeah, Python 3.10. Okay, right there it told us. So yeah, we can do something like this as a switch. So match HTTP code, and then it's going to check what that variable value is equal to, and then it's going to run it. Good question, good question. Where is it? Here it is. Right, cool. Any more questions on conditions? No? Okay. So now let's get into loops. Loops. For loops. A for loop in Python is declared using the for keyword and is used to iterate over a sequence. For here, example, we're doing for num in range of 5. We'll be talking about range in a couple more slides. But as you can see, it's extremely simple in this case. Okay, it's extremely simple in this case. You're using the for and then a variable name that we're using for each element inside of that sequence. Then in, and then you can use range, or you can do a couple more cool stuff that I'll show you later on. So here it's just going to print, as you can probably figure out, the range function starts off at 0, and then from 5, it goes to 0 to 5. 5 as in the length, but it's not inclusive of the number 5. Okay. Since the for loop in Python iterates over a sequence, strings, arrays, and other data structures could be iterated. This is pretty cool, in my opinion. For example, let's say we have a string. For letter in hello, it will actually get every single character inside of that string and then print it out. So as you can see right there, we have the H, the E, the L, and the O. You can also do this with, I call it array, but in Python they're actually all lists because you can append and pop from them. But here, for element in lists, if you print that element, we get every single element inside the list. So we get 1, 4, 7, and 2.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Now let's talk about the range function. The range function is commonly used in for loops to iterate over a specific range. So here, we're saying that we start off at 1, and then we finish at 6. But 6 is not included. It's exclusive. Do you see my cursor? You do. Beautiful. So here, this 1 right here is inclusive, and the 6 is exclusive. Which is why when we print out num, we only get 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We never see the 6. The syntax of the range function is range, start, stop, step. Note how the start is inclusive and the end is exclusive, like I just said. Pretty cool one is step. Is step right here. If we change our default value is 1 as a step of 1. But if we change that to 3 and we start at 1 and finish at 20 exclusive, we will get the sequence 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19. So the reason why that makes sense is because 1 plus 3, 4, 4 plus 3, 7, 7 plus 3, 10, because that is our step size. A for loop can also iterate backwards by using the range function. So let's say our start is 7, and then our finish is -1. Remember, our finish or our stop is always exclusive, so it will not get to -1. And now our step is negative. So instead of going forward, now we're going backwards. Which is why you see the sequence 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. This part makes sense to you guys? Yeah? Yeah, perfect. Yes?
Why is it -1?
So, wait, which one? The first one or the second one?
Second one.
The second one is -1 because that is the step. So if we start, so yeah, let's keep this in mind. This is our range function. It can take in 3 arguments: start, stop, and then step. Here, we start at 7, and we want to finish at -1. So, and then we step by -1. So it's 7 plus -1. Yeah, okay, cool. Everyone else is fine with this? Yes? Cool. Now we also have while loops. A while loop in Python is created using the while keyword, pretty simple, and we'll run the block of code inside the while, and we'll run the block of code inside while the condition is true. That second while completely threw me off. So here, for example, let's say alive is set equal to true, and our health is set equal to 50. So while we are alive, so while true, if health is equal to 0, alive is set to false. If health is equal to 50 divided by 2, print health, and then subtract health by 1. So eventually, this is eventually going to boil down, and it's going to hit this first if block, and it's going to change the alive value from true to false. Once it does that, the while block will no longer run. This is also pretty simple and common to other programming languages. That's it for loops. Right? Yeah. So now let's get into data structures. A Python list can be created using the square brackets and can contain different data types. Does not have to be the same data type at all. Instead, as you can see right here, we have a string, a number, an array, then a boolean. And it did not throw any error at all. Actually pretty useful, to be honest. Python lists can also be used in for loops to iterate over each element. So we did see this before in the loops section, but you just wanted to bring it up one more time.
Hey, for example, like, in the case like another in, like you make 4 elements, in, are, in, like the string itself.
Yeah.
You, like run each letter.
Yes. Yes, we can add another for loop in here and print out each letter, yeah.
Or like, would it be like in the same for, or like in the same for, or should you like make a new for loop?
No, we will have to use a new for loop.
Okay.
How visible is this? Okay. So let's say we have, whoa, what happened? Okay, let's say we have hello. Let's say we have world, correct? Then for element in array. Now we have the element. Let's say this happens once. What is element set equal? In the beginning, element will be equal to what? Hello, exactly. So initially will be equal to hello. So now we want to do for character in element. Let's print out that C. And we print out each and every single character. That makes sense, yeah.
For the C, is it implied that C is used for character, or we can use any letter?
Any letter you want. That's just the variable name, kind of like element. It's completely up to you guys. Guess I can make it a little bit more intuitive, I guess. And here, print something like this, I believe. Okay, there we go. Then you can really see it broken up. That makes sense to everyone? That's perfect. All right, so let's carry on. It would be really funny if I did exactly what you just told me in this slide and I completely forgot. All right, so combining what we know about for loops and indexing, we can index each element in our array using a for loop and the len function. So let's say we have here. Let me write that out. Trying to make this as interactive as possible. So let's say we call list, which we can convert a data type, in this case a string, into a list. For a string, it breaks it up by characters, and the element inside the array that we get is each character inside the string, which is why we get H-E-L-L-O. Now let's say let's just save that into a variable, and we call the length of R, we get 5. Makes sense, right? It's just how many elements are inside the array. There's 5 characters, H-E-L-L-O, so the length is 5. Now, can we index 5? Let me go back to this. If we do array of length array, who thinks this is going to work and who thinks it's not going to work? Just by show of hands. Who thinks it's going to work? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 people. 5 and 5. All right. Who thinks it's not going to work? 1, 2. You raise your hand. 3. Okay. List index out of range. The face of shock, right? Why?
Because it goes only to 4, index 4.
Exactly. In computer science, we index starting at 0. So in that array, we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We don't have 5, which is why it gives us that error. To make it work, we need to do -1, and that does work. Make sense to you guys? Any questions on that? No? Okay. So we remember the range, if we just pass it one value, it would start at 0 and then finish at that value exclusive. So here in range, the length of R, we just saw that it's equal to 5, but range is exclusive, so we never reach 5. It would do 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So by calling range length of R, that will give us the proper indexing for every single character inside of our array. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Because remember, length of R in this case is equal to 5, and then 5 is exclusive in the range function. So it's equal to do 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we can perfectly index that. We would not get any out of bounds error, and we get the characters we want. Python lists can also be sliced to get a range of elements, similar to the range function. List slicing is also inclusive, exclusive. So here we want to include 1, which is 4. And we want to exclude, we do 1 colon 2. The 1 is inclusive, so we start at 4, because that's the first index, the element at the first index. And then from starting at that position all the way to 2, but 2 is exclusive. So we really just get 4. If that doesn't make sense, let's look at the second example. Inclusive 1. So here, what is the element at the 1 index? 4. Okay, yes. So right here, this is index 1. It has the element 4. And then it goes all the way to 3, but 3 is exclusive. This is 0. This is 1. This is 2. And then this is 3. But we never include the element at the third index. We stop right before it, which is why we only get 4 and 6. That part makes sense? All right, so wow, I'm kind of low-key quizzing you guys. What would this return? Okay, we have, he thinks it will return hello.
I mean, like in the case that, I'm assuming that basically like, it's 0 beforehand, right?
Okay, you're making an assumption. Okay. So you're making an assumption since I didn't include a number here, it would start at 0. All right. Anyone else want to add to that? Or do you guys believe in him?
I agree.
You believe in him? You believe in him? You don't believe in him? Oh, we have one against you.
Wouldn't that cause fault because it's going to be searching out of the...
Okay, so he thinks that this is going to lead to an error. Okay. So we have an error. 3 people believe it's going to work. 1 doesn't.
Wouldn't you have to do -1 to include
The O?
the O?
Okay.
That's right.
So you believe it needs to be changed. You two. That's what you're saying. Okay. You two agree. You have something on yourself. He disagrees with you.
I'm a believer.
He's a believer. All right, we got a believer here. Okay. You guys want to jump in? No? You guys want to observe?
I take my statement back.
Oh, okay. He's no longer on your team. This is interesting. All right, what do you think now?
I think because you said that after the colon it's exclusive, so you don't include that, so that statement itself will be fine.
Okay. So he thinks since this length of R is exclusive, he no longer thinks it's going to lead to an error, an out of bounds error. Shall we find out?
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's exclusive. Length of R is equal to 5, but we never get to index 5 because it's exclusive. And you were totally correct. Your assumption of it starting at 0 because I didn't include a number before the colon, is also correct.
They have been converted.
Yeah. Minds have been changed today. How about this? What would this give me? Okay, he says the whole array. You agree? Okay. All right, let's find out. It's the exact same thing. Without specifying any numbers, it uses the whole thing. Without specifying the number before the colon, starts at 0. And then, of course, how about this? Oh, this is fun. Sorry, I heard something here. You print L only? L-L-O, okay. L-O, okay.
I agree with him.
L-L-O, L-O, L-O. Wait, Johnny, what did you say?
I'm just gonna say L.
Okay, he's going to say L. Casey, you want to add anything? Sorry? Spectator? Oh, okay, spectator. Okay, cool. L-O. Remember it's indexed at 0? So this is position 0, position 1, position 2, position 3. So it starts at 3 all the way to the end. It includes everything else, which is why we get L-O. Cool. We can also append and add. Python lists also include an append method that adds any element to the end of a list. Let's say initially we start with an empty list, and we go over a range of 8. So of course we'll get 0 to 7, because remember 8 is exclusive. And we call the append for every single number inside of that range, and then we print our array. Our array will change from initially being empty to having the elements 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Lists also support the addition operation. This is pretty cool, in my opinion. Let's say we have 2 lists. We have 1, 2, 3. And then the second list have 5, 6, 7. We can easily add them together into one list by doing R1 plus R2. And as you can see, it returns the combination or the concatenation of those 2 lists. Before I move on to that, I want to show you guys something pretty cool. What do you guys think this will return? 15. Okay, he thinks it will return 15.
5 threes, like multiplying the array like 5 times.
Okay, so he says 5 threes. He's been on a streak, that's all I'm saying. I didn't teach this part, so you guys have to make some assumptions, so it's fine if you're wrong. Shall we run it? We get 5 threes. Super easy way of filling up an array. Let's say you want to have an array of certain amount of characters. Let's say initially I want an array of 7 to have characters A for some reason. But I want 7 of those, just times 7. Instead of having to go through a for loop, you can just do this.
But I just point. This is slower than the list comprehension.
Yeah, list comprehension, okay. We're getting there, all right. What is list comprehension? Damn. Okay, what is the list comprehension? Does this seem cool to you guys? You have a for loop inside of a list, which is those square brackets, and whatever that for loop returns will instantly be added to that list. Pretty cool stuff, right?
So 7 is.
Yeah, there's 7 A's right here. The exact same thing as this first one. But instead we use the list comprehension. What would this return? Error, okay.
Seven.
7x, okay. So let's try to break it down before I really give the answer away. For x in range of 7, in a regular for loop, what is that x just represents the current value, right? So I think we had it here. Here, num for range of 8, it would have given me 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way up to 7. Here, that's what x is equal to. X in the first run should be equal to 0. Second run should be equal to 1. And then so on and so forth up to 6. Because remember, this is exclusive. 7 is exclusive. For each of those x's, I want to add it to my list, as you can see right here. So what would it return? Huh?
Like the numbers from 0 to 6, like inside the range.
The numbers through 0 and 6, exactly. Yo, you're on fire. Good job, man. That makes, yeah.
Can you explain that again?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this, damn, man.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. This is, we're really selling Python here today. So, the first variable I use needs to be equal to the variable I'm using in my for loop. So x is going to represent the current element in this sequence. The sequence is a range of 6. We can think of that as just 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then x represents the current element we're on in that sequence. For that current element, which is saved in the variable x, we want to add that element to our array. And we do that by specifying it here in the beginning. If I, for now, do this, you can see how it changes my answer. So that first variable needs to equal the variable that I'm using for my sequence in the for loop, and then I can do whatever I want with it. I can even change it to a string, and it will change it to a string. If it is not equal to the variable I'm using in my for loop, it will give me an error, because y is not defined. Y just it can't come out of nowhere. So I need to use the one that I used in my for loop. With this, I can do whatever I want to. I can take it to, I can square it, it will give me that. But this is extremely powerful because I don't need to write out a full for loop. I can do it in one line. This is just, you need to continue to do it. Practice makes perfect. So if this seems a little bit confusing, don't worry. It was confusing for everyone in the beginning. But yeah, it's just something really cool. Any more questions on that, by the way? No? Okay. Dictionaries. A Python dictionary is an unordered collection of items where each item has a key value pair. You guys want to tell me what this is equivalent to in Java? Is a hash map. Yeah, exactly. So here, that's my dictionary. We instantiate it using the curly braces. The key in this example is the string key. And then we need to use colon to represent the value. In this case, value is the key value. Sorry, is the string value. Dictionary values can be accessed similar to indexing a list but instead of a number, the specific key is passed. Something I really want to point out, different data types in your dictionary. They do not have to be the same at all. It could be different and will not throw you an error. To access the value of key, I do the brackets, and then I pass the key that I want to use. This case, I did D, square brackets, key, and it gave me value, because that is the value of the key. That's a horrible setup, but whatever. The second example is a little better. If I do D, brackets 7, then I'm getting the value of key 7, which in this case is a string 7. It's pretty confusing. Could have made that a little bit better. Wow. So a key value could also be added to a dictionary by creating the key and giving it a value. Here, initially, our dictionary only has name and James, that key value pair. If we want to add something, we can call dictionary, so call our dictionary variable. We're doing D here. Give it age, and since age is not part of a dictionary, when we set D age equal to 28, it will add it right here. And then after we add it, of course, we can index it and get its value. This part makes sense to you guys? Yeah, cool. When accessing a key value pair that does not exist, Python will throw an error. So here we're trying to access school, but our dictionary does not have the value school. So of course, throws an error. To combat a key error, use the get method. The syntax of the get method is get key default value. So let's get the value of key school, but if that's not part of our dictionary, let's return no school record. And since school is not part of our dictionary, as you can clearly see right here, it will give us this default value. Sounds good? Yes? All right. The keys and only the keys of a dictionary can be returned using the keys method on a dictionary. So here our dictionary has key value pairs of name James, age 28, and then career topology. The keys are name, age, and career. The values are James 28 topology. If we do d.keys, we get all the keys, but we get it in an object. We can convert that object to a list by just calling the list and then d.keys. Then as you see right here, we get name, age, and career, which is exactly the keys of our dictionary. The values and only the values of a dictionary can also be returned by using the values method on a dictionary. Exact same thing as doing .keys, but instead we're doing it with .values, and we get the values of the dictionary. Oh, what? Of course, one of those more to this. All right, so since we went over list comprehension, let's do dictionary comprehension. If you thought the other one was hard, this one's way harder or confusing. Does it make sense why we're using curly braces instead of, huh? The curly braces is for dictionaries. The square ones are for arrays, and then the curly braces are for dictionaries. Right. Unless you're doing the formatting in that sense, then yes, it's exactly what you said. So like replace the formatting with a verb.
What are the parentheses for?
Huh? Tuples? Tuples?
Yeah.
Tuples? That's
N tuples.
yeah, it could be any size. Yeah.
N size tuples.
Yeah. Okay, so all right, I'm gonna write one down, and I want you guys to try to figure out what it would return. This should work. All right, what do you guys think it will return? I want you to tell me what data structure will return, and then the key value pairs. Yeah, 3 key value pairs, yes.
Would it be like, like the 3 key values, would it be like 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 4?
Yeah. Yeah, it's exactly that. Yeah? Okay. So let's see if I made an error. I did not. Cool. So it's exactly that. It's pretty similar to, damn, you guys didn't say the data type, data structure. No, you guys knew it was objects. I mean dictionaries, because we talked about it in the beginning. Okay, it's fine. It's pretty similar to array comprehension, but only difference is instead of the square braces, we have the curly braces. And now, since we need a key value pair for every dictionary, we need to add the key, colon, the value. I swear there was something missing from this slide, because I know I had one more, which is going to be talking about the items. Let's just make sure we understood this. So let me save this into D. Okay, what would this give me?
Wait, this gives you 0, 1, 2, because you're getting the keys?
Yes, exactly. This will give me the keys of the dictionary, which is 0, 1, and 2. Okay, you answered. So you guys, please don't answer this next one. Okay, let's say get someone else for this one. What would this give me?
0 to 4, second values.
The values, okay. You want to say the sequence?
So 0, 2, and 4.
0, 2, and 4, yeah. 0, 2, and 4. Okay, so you answered, so don't answer, you don't answer, and you don't answer. The longer you take to answer, the harder it will get. I'm just going to say that right now. Okay, so what would this give me? Maybe this is kind of discouraging.
Maybe someone's brave enough in the stream.
Yeah, I've been looking at the chat. We have I know we have 5 people watching right now. Oh, thank you for the 9 likes, by the way. But guys, don't be afraid to leave a comment. I've been watching the chat the whole time, so please reach out to us if anything.
They'll be carrying the team.
Huh?
They'll be carrying the team.
They're what?
They'll be carrying the team.
Yeah. Yeah, carry them for us. Damn, I did not actually do it. Give me a sec. Yeah, yes. 3, 5, and 7. Okay, so far nothing, chat. Okay, how about
So we do element addition.
huh?
So we do element by element addition.
No. Well, you already answered. So you don't answer, you don't answer, you don't answer, you don't answer.
So that'll be 3,
Oh.
7, 11.
That's it?
Or 3, 5, 7. No. 2. Yeah, 3, 5, 7. 0, 1.
No, not exactly.
Wait, I got this.
Oh, David.
Did it?
You typed in chat. Don't give the answer away. That's actually wrong. No, I'm kidding. It's right.
Well, who is this? I don't know who put that.
David Acosta.
I don't know who that is.
It has your picture. That's seriously you right there.
Yeah, I should take it.
Okay. All right, let's give it to David. David said,
I said 357, and see this plus is two lists, right? So they're added together, so they're concatenated. So then you continue on from the keys, which are 1, 0, 1, 2. So since that's also part of the new list that's here, it's going to add 3 to 0,
379.
1, and 2. So 357,
No.
3, 4, 5. Sorry.
yeah, he put 357, 345, and it's that. Because yeah, so let's just cover this real quick. Am I missing? Yeah, there we go. So remember that list d.values gave us 0, 2, and 4, and then list d.keys gave us 0, 1, 2, which is two lists. And remember, we can use the plus sign on two separate lists to put it in one. So now we get 0, 2, 4, which is the list of values, 0, 1, 2, which is the list of keys, all in one list. All right, let me see if I can write the syntax for this next one correctly. I don't know if this will be right. Anyone want to give it a shot if this is not wrong? You know, I can actually check without giving the answer away. Let's say this is equal to A. Will this give me an error? Okay. Whoa, that might be a pretty big list, actually. Changes to 2, changes to 3. All right, let's do that. I think I know. Any takers? What would this be? Okay.
If the, like, I'm just gonna ask, like, if the, like the second for technically like inside the first one?
Yeah.
Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is technically like a nested for loop.
Wait, which one's nested within which?
I do not know. I think this one's going to run first, and then the one with the X.
Yeah,
I think that's how it works. I've never done this.
Would it be 0 to 2?
0 to, no. If I'm right. Let's all place our bets. Let's see who's right. Okay, continue.
0, 1.
There's a little bit more to it though.
And then
Oh,
2 because
Okay.
yeah,
0, 1, 2, continue.
that's all I got.
Okay. He's on the right track. A little bit more to it.
And then 6.
Time to consume Python. Thank you for saying that, eccentric fellow. And then 6?
Yeah.
No. Unless I'm wrong, but we'll find out. Eccentric fellow, feel free to take a stab at this, at what this nested for loop with list comprehension will result to. So what is A equal to? That's the problem we're trying to solve right now. David Acosta put the snake emoji. Okay. You guys give up? No? Okay.
So,
Uh.
no, no, no.
Fight to the death? No, I'm kidding. All right.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, any one of you.
So far we have 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And then, or am I on the wrong track?
Yeah, wrong track.
Okay.
Yeah. Were you going to say something?
I think it's 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3.
I don't think so.
0, 1, 1, 2, 3.
No.
No?
No. Yo, am I wrong? I don't know anymore. All right. But write down what you think it is. Yeah, you want to say something? No, you, young lady. All right, shall we see what it results to?
See.
Okay, do you guys want me to say my answer? Actually, no, let's talk about it. Let's see. Before we see the answer, let's try to group discussion. I believe it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. This range is going to start off with 0. This range is going to start off with 0. So 0 plus 0 is 0. Then this range is going to be 1. 1 plus 0 is 1. Then this range is going to be 2. 2 plus 0 is 2. Then this one is going to change. It's going to go from 0 to 1. And then this is going to go again. So 0 plus 1, 1. 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 1, 3. So we get 0, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Oh, no.
Oh, okay. So
Who said this? Did someone say this? You said it? Oh, my God, you genius.
0, 1, 1. Oh, okay. So the right one is nested within. Okay.
Oh, it's the right one?
Yeah. So that one repeats itself within.
Oh, that actually doesn't. Yeah, let's try it.
Okay. Sorry, guys.
That's close. I just missed it.
You know what, guys? This workshop is closed. You can come up and teach it. 2. So we're saying the first one's the outer for loop, and then the second one's the inner for loop. Yeah, it's exactly that. So you had it correct. Round of applause for him, please, guys.
Where's the Nintendo Switch?
Oh, yo, our funding is not high. We are broke. Okay, so yeah, so this is how you can, I guess, visualize it now. This helped a lot. So the first for loop is one that's outer, and then the second for loop is the one that's nested. So you read it from left to right. All right, cool, that makes sense. All right, that was a pretty tough one. Not for you, it was easy for you, I bet. Clear. So let's go back to dictionaries. There's something else I would like to teach you guys. David. Centric fellow. I'm just using the names of the people in the live stream.
Oh, okay.
So can I do that? Can I use your name? Are you
Just do it.
yeah.
I already did it.
I mean, you already typed in chat, so your record is already there.
My name, my face. Oh, okay.
If you guys want your name to be in the dictionary, please leave a comment real quick. Okay, let's add Cyrus. Okay, cool. So this is our, let's give it one more second. Okay. Casey, okay. Oh, this is getting very long. Please, guys, no longer. Okay. Oh, Franco. Okay, I need to add Franco. I need to go back. Okay, you know what, David? I'm getting rid of you. You give me attitude for including your name, so you're out.
Whatever. That means that I don't get doxxed.
Okay. There we go. So that's our dictionary. We've already went over keys. and values. Pretty useful, but we can actually get both of them at the exact same time. We can do that by using items. We can get them in a tuple. So a tuple is just a pair of values within parentheses. That's how you can create a tuple. Here, the first value, or the first value in the tuple is the key. Then the second value is the value. So let's go over it. Eccentric, first one, that is the key. Then fellow, second one, that is the value. So we can actually use this in a for loop, and we can unpack this tuple. What does unpacking mean? Let's say we have a tuple 1 and 2. Then we do x and y is equal to t. In this case, we unpack the tuple into 2 separate variables. The amount of variables is equal to the amount of values inside the tuple. So it will now throw us an error. X will be equal to 1. Whoops, sorry. And then y will be equal to 2. So let's go back to this. Let's print this out one more time. There we go. Now, since we just learned about unpacking, we can do this in a for loop. So for key value in list d.items print so f string, the key is key, and the value is value. We run this, we unpack it. So instead of just having one single variable in the for loop, after the for keyword, now we have 2. We're instantly unpacking it in the for loop. Now we're printing this string. It's an f string. The key is key, and the value is value. This is pretty useful.
Scroll up for a minute.
Scroll up. Do I know how to do that? Yes, I do. Okay, cool. I thought I gave an error.
Okay, so the key is in the value.
Yeah, there. We're using that one.
Okay.
This made sense to you guys? Pretty useful stuff, right? Yeah, cool. All right, so we learned about, let me teach you guys another cool built-in function in Python. Let's say we have a list, so L. Enumerate, I believe. I'm going to ask you guys to decode something. From this output in this code, what does enumerate do? Huh? Horizontal shift? Not exactly.
Wait, what does that mean?
What?
Horizontal shift.
Like you mean like shifting it down by 1 or something? Yeah. Yeah, not exactly, not exactly.
Does it get the indexes and the value?
Yes, it does exactly that. It gives you the index, so x here is the index, and then y is the value. So if we call enumerate on L, okay, it's an object. I think we can do this with list. There we go. It's a list of tuples where the first value in the tuple represents the index, and the second value represents the actual element at that index. So that's something else that is pretty useful. Let's see, let's do a problem. Let's say we're in an interview, right? You guys have learned enough to do this problem, so no need to think outside of the box. Let's say we have a string called hello there, man. Okay, hello there, man. What data structure do I want to use to count the amount of characters and frequency of that character in this string? Wait, yeah, wait one more second.
Use the one where it lists the characters iteratively.
So it lists all the characters, and where will we store that character? In an array. And how will we store that? How will we store the frequency of that character?
Down there.
Could you use kind of like a list to put it?
Okay.
On their own track?
So you guys said the same data structure? Not exactly. I think you raised your hand first. What were you going to say?
I was gonna say, like they said, like use a list to separate all the letters and put it in an array. And what else?
Okay. Also not exactly. Do you want to say something? A tuple? Okay. Also not exactly. I'm just, yeah, no, you guys have enough information to figure this out. Anyone else want to take another jab at it? Or anyone in chat? I've been keeping an eye on chat the whole time, guys, so don't think you're left out. The question is, what data structure do we want to use to get the unique characters and the frequency of that character of this string S here?
Is like a combination of, databases, like different types? Because I think maybe like it could be like, a list, but like with tuples inside or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Not exactly. It could be done if you multiply. Yeah, if you take the ordinal. Yeah, that could be done. Very complex though. There's an easier way of doing it and more straightforward. Okay, David, do you want to say what it is?
What's the question again?
There's no way. Oh my God. Okay, given this string, what data structure do we want to use for it to count the unique characters and the frequency of that character?
I would use a dictionary.
He will use a dictionary. You guys agree with that? Okay, that's one nod in the back.
That was multitasking.
You were multitasking. Okay. We forgive you. Everyone else agrees with that? What would the key be? Don't say it.
The characters, the letters.
Okay, you guys agree with that? The key will be the character, and the value will be what?
The number of times.
The frequency? Okay. You guys agree with that? All right. So, how can we iterate over this? What will we use? What type of loop? Okay, let's use a for loop. For C in how will we start? And you want to use range? Okay. This is first come, first serve. If you say something, I'll use it. What else? What's inside of range? 12. What if the string changes? Sorry? In range S. Something else you need to add to that? Huh? Not exactly. There's a function you need to use. Yeah. So range length of S. That will give us the length of the string. Crap, I actually messed up. I didn't create. We all agreed on the dictionary, but didn't create the dictionary. Let's do S.
Hello there. Can we do first and after? Can we do first?
Okay. What now? What do we need to do? We know we want the unique amount of characters in the string. So we want to first check if that character is already in the dictionary, correct? What can we use for that? Huh? Okay, an if statement, what will be the condition? You guys are learning Python and doing like an interview prep. This is a good deal, 2 for 1.
Something like if C, I mean, I don't know like how you can check like each of like the keys individually, but I guess like you would have like to check
Okay.
like, each of the keys you have like at that moment with the C, with your element C at the point.
So you're saying get the keys of the dictionary currently, and then see if C is inside of that list?
Yeah.
Okay, that would work 100%, but there's a little bit more efficient way. I'm not going to judge you guys for not remembering this. You're trying to learn a whole language in one day, or in 1 hour. So we can use d.get C, and if C is not there, false. You guys remember this now? The .get?
Oh, that's getter default.
Yes, the default will be false if C does not exist in the dictionary.
You know what you could do?
Wait, don't.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
fine.
Were you going to say in?
No, I wasn't actually.
Oh, okay, cool.
I was actually gonna suggest d.get C, and if it's not there, return 0, and then set that +1 equal to d.
Okay.
But
No, yes.
same thing, same thing.
That's way better though. I also use that for leak code. We'll do it an optimized way later. So we get C, else we default to false. So if C, if it's false, what do we want to do? You said add it to the dictionary. You guys agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if exists, if not exists, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, not exist.
Okay. Because let's say it defaults to false, right? If not false will be true, and then that if block would run, correct? All you guys agree with that? Cool. How do we add it? See, you guys remember? Okay, so we do the square brackets, right? And then C, set that equal to what? Yeah, so the value is the frequency, and we know that character exists. So we set it equal to 1, correct? If it's,
You could set it equal to 0.
Uh,
and add 1 to it.
no. No. Let's do it this way. No, but I know what you mean. And that also does work. But let's go this way. If it doesn't exist, let's add it to the dictionary and set it equal to 1. I'm trying to tie everything together.
Okay.
But what you said is totally correct. What if it does exist? Perfect, else.
I don't know how you can change the, I guess like BC plus equal 1, or
Yep, plus equal 1. Else, if it's already part of the dictionary, increment its counter, increment its frequency. Guys, if you're in the live stream, please say something. I will add your code. I swear I haven't kept my eye off the chat. Do we need anything else? Okay, now you guys want to print it, okay? Everyone's agree, we're done? David agrees, okay? Yeah, okay. So, yeah, we can do that. We can put it into a list. Or we can just do this as well. Print D. And it gives us this. Is this what we wanted? I also forgot about this, but yeah, let's just pretend I planned this. Why? Okay, let's not change too much code. Let's change only one single line. That's not the for loop. What can we change up here to be correct? So this part I already said we want. So the next part will be this. Is this line fine? No. Why? What does C represent here? Who said it? The index, yes. So what do we want to do? We want to get the character at that index. So we would have to index the string, right? And that's how we index the string. Then we add this part. Let me do that. Let me do that. Let me do this. Where did I put H? Huh? Oh, line 4, you're right. 0, 1, 2. All right, live debugging. Oh, yeah, thank you. I didn't go far up enough. All right. This one we changed. Okay, that one's correct. We need this one's correct. It's not this one. It's this one. There we go. Okay. Thank you, guys. Else. Yes, this one. And that's it. Then let's print D. I didn't reset the dictionary. Okay, wow, one more time, guys, one more time. This is all part of the plan, I swear. Okay, so D, let's reset it. Now, my God, last time, right? Yeah, right? Okay, if not exist, yes. This is the correct one. Yeah, it is. Else plus equal 1, yes. Enter, print D. There we go. All right, cool. Now, I need to go so far up now. Hello there man has 3 E's. E is 3, H is 2. Is that accurate? Let's just do. So how many H's are there? There are 2. And our dictionary said for the character H, there's 2 frequency. For E, there's 3. That is also correct. For L, there's 2. For O, there's 1. And then the rest, it's right. Okay, cool. What time is it? Okay. Let me show you guys a much faster way. from collections, import counter. Counter S, I believe this will work. And there we go. 2 lines.
Arrays that sort.
Yeah, it's so much quicker. Much less code. And this is built in. This is part of the Python Python language. It's built-in library.
It's just like when you bin X and you count 1.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah, that was funny. So, I think that applied a lot that we went over today, right? We went over a little bit of debugging too, which was part of the plan, so I'm glad. Thank you, Nathalie, for saying something in chat. So that went over a lot of things. You guys got it right. Hopefully you learned something. Let me go back to the slides, because I want to talk about this. Experience is a name everyone gives to their mistakes, by Oscar Wilde. Pretty cool guy. Good books. As you can tell, I've been doing Python. That was my first language, but I still make mistakes. But you learn from them, of course. So when you guys want to apply what you learned today outside of this workshop, and you want to take Python a little bit more seriously, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to search things up. Stack Overflow, the docs. It's totally fine. That's part of programming. Even senior programmers, they still do it. So everyone makes mistakes. Just don't let that affect you too much, and keep pushing. Here are a couple of resources. We will be sharing this slide for both clubs. We'll be giving the link. So whichever club you're a part of, you can have access to it. There's also, didn't really write that much code, so don't forget about the GitHub repo. I don't think I'm going to include that. But there's also Python docs. They're pretty good. They're actually pretty informative on everything. There's also Python Programiz. That website is actually really, really good. Programiz. I use it a lot. Thank you, Martin Alvarez, for saying that. And it's really useful. User interface is beautiful and amazing, so you guys will definitely be able to understand it. Of course, YouTube. Search a Python tutorial, you get millions of videos, or hundreds of thousands at least. And then Python data structures. Actually, this goes to the Python docs, and it goes over the different type of data structures, because there's stacks and queues, which I didn't really get into here, but there's so much more, guys. So much more. So explore around. Don't be afraid to break things. So thank you, guys. So what's next? September 30th, we have an intro to ML. And October 7th, a Python and web development, which will both be hosted right here in the same room and live streamed. So keep in touch with us. If you haven't already, leave this up a couple seconds. Okay, I think that's it. And then of course, AEMB, keep in touch with them as well. So scan the QR code and you'll be able to join the club. This is 2 different QR codes. Yeah. Okay. Then, okay, that's it. So I just leave this QR code up there. Thank you, guys. And thank you guys for watching. I'm reading the chat now. Thank you for thanking me, I guess. Hopefully you enjoyed it. But yeah, that's the end of the workshop. Bye, guys.